Sparkles and Shivs, it's the Con Mom Show. Stephanie
and Sarah. Hello everyone, welcome back to Con Moms. This is Sarah Marie Spectrum, and we are here with
Stephanie, Jedi Moon Cosplay.
Yes! We're excited to be back, and thank you all, as always, for listening. We really appreciate it. So we've been talking about, we talked about cosplay in 2020, we talked about our first conventions, we talked about some stuff, and today we're talking about conventions reopening, extending again, that whole scenario, all of this, vast uncertainty around conventions right now. I noticed one of the first things I woke up to this morning was Denver Comic-Con merging with Fan Expo. I was wow. That's very big, because I worked with them before in the past, and I was not expecting that, and I was like, what? Obviously, they are not doing a show this year, and they are going back to 2022, but I was like, that's a big mix. I'm very interested.
Yeah.
And curious to see how that changes the experience. I'm looking right now at it, so curious how that changes the experience and what'll change and all of that. But yes, I haven't some shows I've been seeing that they're doing other stuff. I think Comic-Con is doing something tentatively in November.
Yeah, tentatively, and it is much smaller. WonderCon, their kind of diet San Diego Comic-Con, as I like to call it, is being postponed. I think it's just going to be online if there's, as far as stuff that's going on. But, we're with all these projections of, the vaccinations reaching the levels that we need to by the end of summer, some of those quarter 3 and quarter 4 cons are really looking at potentially doing something. A con who shall not be named is, that is only an hour away from me in California, I believe, is doing something in the springtime. So we will see. Other states, obviously, Florida and Texas are wide open. Yeah. Everything is on the table for those conventions. So I expect we see at the very least, just at the end of the year, some cons, but also, watching other states and seeing what happens.
Yeah, I know going back to Texas, because I do a lot of stuff with Acon. I know they did extend, they're doing it again next year, and they're not hosting an event this year. And then after, I think they announced that the day before, Abbott was like, yeehaw! I'm from Texas, I can make fun of you, so I can make fun of you. But I know I think they announced it. It was either the day or the day before, because I remember seeing and then all the news broke the next day, and I was like, yeah, okay, but they are still maintaining that they are not going to be doing a convention until next year, which I think is good, because theirs is summer. It's always been May. Yeah, May. So.
Well, I'm sure once they're at the point, once a big convention especially is at a point where they can ready to announce to the public, they've already gone through their insurance, they've gone through the legal process, they've gone through the contract process. At this point, the cost to go, oops, psychs, we're actually going to do it, just probably isn't practical.
Oh yeah, it's not, especially since they've had
and the
to miss a year.
Of just planning the event,
Especially if you want to get big name guests, that's insane. And I'm sure also these shows that are wanting to continue, I think it'll say a lot if people actually guests agree to go to those, and especially before winter quarter. That'll say a lot about, I think, guests, and I'll definitely, I feel draw some lines. But yeah, I'm it's interesting to see. I don't know. Maybe New York City will do something. I don't know. Reed Pop's very cautious. I don't think they will, but we'll see.
But on the flip side, because you talked about, those bigger cons are really going to want to be strategic and wait to get those bigger name guests. And, places like San Diego Comic-Con, totally get why they would go, nope, because San Diego Comic-Con isn't just the Comic-Con, it's all of downtown San Diego.
Yeah.
And that's just, that could easily be too much, even by that point. Even by the last couple months of 2020, that still might be too much than is recommended for gatherings. But I do think this could be, and I really hope that other people see this opportunity and decide to go for this. this could be a really good opportunity for those really small little cons to shine.
Yeah.
You've got far fewer attendees. You've got cheap ticket prices. Nobody goes to a little con because of their guest list. Like, there might be a couple of voice actors or artists there that they've got that you're like, oh, cool, this is a niche thing that I was really into.
Yeah.
Like when they had one of the artists from the Sandman comics there, I was at a little con I went to. I was hyped. It was great.
I'm kind of jealous.
Those are the. Yeah, he drew Death in one of my little comic books as I was dressed as Death, and I died. But yeah, so like there's an opportunity I feel like, for small cons to smartly go ahead with an event at the latter half, like the fall winter portion of the year, where they can do more social distancing. If it's early enough in the fall, and depending on your region, our fall is still pretty warm. We don't actually get cold until like late October.
Yeah.
So there's still opportunities for potential outdoor venues, spreading things out a little bit. By that time, a lot more people can be vaccinated. And so there definitely is something there. And I hope we do see more of those little cons, because those were the ones I was most worried about.
Yeah, those are the ones I really want to survive, because like you said, a lot of the big cons do have insurance and stuff. And I mean, no matter what convention, if you're big or small, like the fact that you have to extend a year and either keep those ticket sales and carry them over, you're not getting new ticket sales, or refunding, like that's a big financial strain no matter what. But especially the small cons, I don't think like all of them, I'm sure some of them legally have to have insurance, but I don't think it's like as drastic as like the big cons. Yeah, I've had that thought. I'm like, this will be their time to shine if they safely can do so. But
yes, if they can
get their name out there. Because I definitely feel like some areas need some new ideas and new experiences.
Yes. And this could be a very good opportunity for that, as well as, you know, we've already seen some conventions either, do a little virtual events for them. I've seen creators just start their own online convention during COVID. And I think that there has been enough people experimenting with that there's a lot of opportunity to do kind of a mix of virtual and in-person events or activities, or things that like, oh, we can combine this. So like you can do this on your app, or like 6 feet away. You don't have to be right up to a person's face. There's, in the business world, people talk right now about where we're at, and that technology and business capabilities have advanced so much this last year because they had to.
They were forced, yeah.
So hopefully some of that carries into little cons.
I think, like, no matter what, like, the landscape is definitely going to change after 2020 and 2021. I think 2021 we'll see the practical application of that. Like you said, we were forced to do stuff so advanced, what we thought was advanced, but really, and I feel like the same kind of thing, if you look at the research and models of things, y'all, I need coffee, where it's been a long week, where like a lot of businesses, where a lot of businesses are not going to go back to having people in the office, like now that they know that they can do this, it's definitely changing the environmental aspects forever. But yeah, I think no matter what, even when we go back to in-person cons, I think there will be a whole new experience, especially with like a lot of the big ones that have the money to do that. I do think Denver Comic Con will always in the future like have something. I mean, San Diego, sorry, will definitely do part virtual and stuff as well, and that's another way for them to generate revenue now that they know how to do that. So,
exactly. In addition, the other thing, like, there's other things too that I hope that we take away, things that we have learned in this last year, and apply them to con culture even. Like, I personally, the first few cons I go back to, I will be wearing cosplays with masks.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm going to, con crud already is an issue with anybody going to a convention. I'm usually safe from it. My immune system is, made out of iron and steel and adamantium. But now being a little bit more socially conscious, like, yeah, not to brag, but in the last 2 years, I haven't taken a sick day. So,
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and because I haven't gotten sick. But, there is more of that now. I have a little bit more of that social consciousness of like, okay, well, I might not be getting sick, but I can still carry something and transmit it. So if I'm wearing a mask, especially, if depending on where the vaccinations are, I still am probably going to be cautious, even if I'm vaccinated and we're at a good level. Like, you know what? I'm going to wear a mask for this because it looks cute. It's one less thing that I have to worry about. And it's just a little bit safer in general.
Yeah.
So I do hope we see more and more people like utilizing masks, both attendees and in cosplays. Like, there's no reason just because you're dressing up, you can't also wear a mask.
Yeah,
Like,
get cool stuff to match. Make stuff to match.
Yeah, exactly. Or, and even if the character isn't normally masked, I did a shoot of Black Widow and I was wearing a mask for a good chunk of that and it looked great. So there's lots of things you can do. I also hope that this is also a good way to start moving away, like to encourage people to don't touch me.
Yes.
No touchy.
Like, that's part of the reason I don't do cosplay anymore. I'm like, do you want me to kick your ass? I will kick your ass.
Oh my god, the amount of times.
Sorry, for allowed to say that.
Like, can you take a picture with me? Oh, sure, yeah, I'm in costume. You're excited, sure.
Yeah.
And then, hand on my waist, and sir, you are going to break my armor, and I'm going to be pissed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So I do hope that, that the culture now, everybody being so much more conscientious of this, and that, you should always feel like you have the freedom and right, to say, you need to let go of me.
Yes.
Please do not touch me. I do not want to be touched. I'm happy to take a picture with you, but I do not want to be touched. Everybody should have had that right and freedom to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one other thing that you can just, a lot of time, us ladies, we got to be a little bit more careful in how we deliver so many times. So this is one more thing to add to our arsenal of very carefully constructed remarks about like, hey, I'm still trying to be cautious and conscientious of spreading germs. I would prefer not to have touching, please. But I will take a picture next to you. Thank you.
Don't be me. I'm very blunt and to the point. I'm like, do not do that. I will not put up with it.
There is merit to that.
I know, but like some people don't like that at all. But I'm like, no. But there is definitely like you want to be respectful.
Crossing a line. Yeah, I was gonna say if somebody's crossing a line and not listening to you, then they don't deserve your respect.
No.
Like it's just not. If you set a boundary and someone says I don't care, they have earned your ire and they have disearned your respect. So.
Yeah. I do think it'll be interesting to see if people do like actual research on concred, very generic term there. After like post-COVID and see if that actually affects it. I think it will. But yeah, I always was very cautious before COVID when I came to conventions because you are tightly packed in places around all sorts of people. And now I think it's more prevalent. People know now that, I can carry things before I get sick. Symptoms actually happen. I feel like the knowledge is more widespread now, and a lot of people just didn't understand that before. And I'm like, yeah, we're tightly packed, and you could have symptoms, or you could be ill and give it to me, and we don't even know yet. You don't even know. Like, yeah, no, I always like when I go into hotel rooms, even before COVID, I'm like, wipe everything down. Like, yeah, I was always that way, but I do think I'll be wearing masks for a while after this, even because, we have vaccines and stuff, but they are emergency use, and also the fact that variants, viruses evolve, so, and we have to test the vaccines against those, so,
but,
yeah, I think it's encouraging, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think you're absolutely right about the concred thing. Just looking at our flu numbers from this last flu season, they're down like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like the flu the flu has hit so little this year, or this last flu season, in part because the best ways to prevent getting the flu was stuff people were doing because of COVID.
Yep.
So fingers crossed that we see that. Fingers crossed that we see like, oh, you know what? We need to actually pay attention to how many people are in the hall, how close these booths are together. So that way people aren't feeling so crammed and sardine packed. We need to look at different ways to do line management, and the like.
Yeah.
So I hope that we really see cons implement it, which is just, frankly, if you get like, you know, if they move to more of that Disney thing of like, oh, you got your pass on your phone and you'll get a notification, go about your day, we'll probably see a lot more enjoyment in cons because you're not waiting in line or crammed in an aisle like a ton of sardines, and you can breathe.
Yeah, it shouldn't take a virus for you to have to figure out how to not make lines hours long. Like, I'm just saying.
You'd really think.
I'm like, but hopefully, like you said, to back up you, like, yes. Yeah. I don't feel like this sounds terrible. I don't feel like I've ever been to a con that the line was, like, not long. You spent your life there and you're very upset. Like, well, I've wasted my whole first day. There's a reason we all come on Thursday, because...
Yup. Like, if it's one of those, like, if you've never experienced a line con, are you even a convention goer?
Yeah. Yeah. But I hope all of you newbies that will be going to your first convention post-COVID that you don't have to experience that. That's something we could, like, leave in 2019. I'm just saying.
Leave it.
Far behind.
So far behind. Just, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah. I also, like, think it's funny, like, it's terrible, but, like, the whole past year, they're like, these are our COVID protocols. I'm like, do you mean you haven't cleaned anything anywhere, like, before COVID? Like, every time they got the emails, they're like, we're now doing this. I'm like, well, way to give me anxiety about all the places I've ever gone before COVID. Like,
right? Like there's some level of like, you know, you see that, and, you know, like public, like the buses going like, you know, we're doing a thorough wipe down of our buses after every single route. Like, you're like, cool. I wouldn't expect you to do that already. That's great that you're doing it now. I appreciate it. But then there's some that are just like, I'm sorry, what was your cleaning schedule before? Because I have some concerns.
Yeah, exactly. Some are givens. Like, some I feel like are very extra, but like some are given. I'm like, what were you doing before? Like, especially when you get them from like hotels, I'm like, this is the reason. I sound like a paranoid person. I'm like, this was the reason I wiped everything down. Yeah, like even before COVID, I would always wear like masks on the plane, and I always like bring wipes and wipe down my tray and wipe down my chair. People always looked at me like I was crazy, and I was like, I'm never gonna see you again. Like, I don't really care.
Don't care.
And I just generally don't care what most people think, anyways. But yeah,
there is such freedom in airline travel, knowing that you will never see any of those people again.
It's so fun. Like, to me, it's very intoxicating. Like, I love the idea of like meeting people you never see again, and then like being able to explore and be like, where are you going? I wonder. But then also like, if I am embarrassed or like screw up, I never have to see this person again, so it's fine.
Yeah,
it's great. What else was I going to say? There was something else. Don't you hate that when you like get something and you think about it and then it just goes poof and you're like, it'll come back to me, but it's fine.
Yeah, that Sims moment.
Yes. I'm convinced we're all Sims.
My action was canceled.
Yeah. Like, I'll stop and I'm like, dang it, someone was like, no, XXX. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm very excited. I also think it's interesting too that people act like masks are this new concept. I'm like, do you realize Asian countries have been wearing masks for years?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's
and they're
totally
like,
normal.
No. Yeah, that's part of the reason I got into masks is like seeing. I'm like, that makes sense about why their numbers, like regardless of COVID, there's other things are always so low because y'all wear masks everywhere, whether you're ill or not.
Like, it's just a normal thing.
Yeah, it's interesting,
and you can breathe through them.
Yes. So I'm curious, what is something that you bring to convention? Do you always bring to your convention that you can't live without?
Oh, what do I always bring to my convention that I can't live without? Let's see. phone chargers, support big battery bricks.
Yes.
Those bastards. I need them.
Yes.
Or I will die.
That's true. I feel
Alright.
like our answers are like snacks and chargers. I'm just saying.
Yeah, snacks and chargers. That is it. That's what it is. I mean, like on a more cutesy level, Michaela has an anxiety stuffy, my wife,
Mm-hmm.
has an anxiety stuffy that's just like, it's that nice flat shape. And so she likes to just hold it against her and it helps her sleep. She'll often bring him to cons.
Oh, I like that.
It's real cute. Yeah.
I need an anxiety something. I don't know. Bring something along. It's cute and adorable. Be like, this is my comfort animal. Leave. Because like even when you're an extrovert, like cons can be very like draining. Even when you're an extrovert,
they absolutely can be, because it's so much all like it's part of it is because unless you like are really good at managing what you're doing, you are going at like an 80+% on your socialization all the time, like hours and hours and hours and hours, and it does not stop. So there's no, like, even extroverts have to have recharge time for our social batteries. So it's very easy to get very, very burnt out. That, and if you're like me, I feed off of the energy around me. And so if I'm in like a room full of like hyper people who are like just really jazzed and go, 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 I'm just going to start acting like that and just like, yeah, let's do it. And then I get to a point where I can actually sit down and everything catches up with my body. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm naturally
Once
just go,
I
go,
sit down,
go.
oof.
Yeah, you're done. It's like
the first time I sit down as a con is a death sentence because I do not practice what I preach.
Yeah, guilty as charged. I'm just always naturally like a go, go, go kind of person. And like I said, extroverts, like we get charged up by people around us. And there's just this point in the day where I'm just like, and I'm dead. Like, bloop. Stumble back to my hotel room.
But then somebody's like, oh, hey, we're going to go out to this food place. We're going to go out and get some drinks. Do you want to come? Yes, I do.
Yep. I can do another hour. I have it in me.
I can do it.
Yeah. That's why I like at cons. So for me, what I always have to take to a con, if it's a big con, I guess. I know, I still do it for little cons. But when I'm not working and I'm actually enjoying, like, okay, that sounds bad. I enjoy myself working at conventions. I love working conventions, all that. But when I'm having me time, because, cons are line cons, I always bring headphones because I'm always listening to audiobooks while I'm in lines. Because it just makes it go faster, especially if it's like fiction. And then I can because when I read, I visualize scenes and myself in scenes. Like I'm either the person in the scene or I'm either like watching in the scene, like a creeper, like far away. But so that's when I'm like, this makes us go faster. Mindless, just bloop. But so yeah, mine would be headphones.
Nice. I think my calming activity is wandering around Artist Alley. Because that's one, it's just like, there's a little bit, I feel a little bit of that recharge seeing all this creativity from other people and just like, it's inspiring, it's beautiful, but it's a much more relaxed pace. I can meander the halls, and it's really fun. Like my friends do, and I'm sure everybody has this experience where they go into an Artist Alley with like 6 friends. And in 10 minutes, all y'all are scattered to the wind.
Yep.
And nobody cares. Like, everyone's like, that's fine. And everybody just saunters, oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, oh, did you see? I saw this really cute booth. It made me think of you. It's right here. It's right there. Okay, see you in a bit. Like, it's just one of those, like, everybody just kind of splits off, does their own thing, goes at their own pace, wanders around. And so, like, you still get that, like, vibe of the con and the fun, but, like, there's no expectations. There's no timetable. It's just you wandering around to see the beautiful things other people have brought to and made.
Yeah. My friends say they can always find me in an Artist Alley because I'm a very excitable person. That's who I am. And so I'll see something that I think is really cute and I'll be like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. And I sometimes, often more times, I'm louder than I realize. And so, like, people are like, oh, I found Sarah. I can hear her over everyone in this place. It's like a beacon. I'm like, they're like, oh, she found something cute and sparkly and rainbow. It's Sarah. She's over there. I'm like, yeah. Yes. And we are going to talk more about Artist Alleys next.
Yes.
So excited.
Well,
yeah.
Hopefully related to Artist Alley, but still on the topic of the conventions. I'm in a Facebook group that's a virtual Artist Alley for canceled comic conventions, and it's just people posting up their wares.
Yeah,
it's so fun.
Add me.
Love looking at the shop. Okay, I will send you.
I gotta go shopping later, guys.
And anybody else listening can also join and just see all of these wonderful independent creators. But I do hope too that we are starting to realize more and more of the value of like, ooh, who was that? Who was this person? What is their online shop? What is their handle? So I can find them again. And you know, with so many things, again, moving online, you have all of these beautiful creators that you're used to seeing every single year at this con. And now that's not the case.
Yeah.
You know, for some people, it'll be 2 years before they go to that regular con. So, you know, it really hammers home the point of like, know who your shops, your favorite vendors are, know if they have a website, know what their online handles are, if they're on social media or Etsy or what have you, because they need your support and they need your love.
Yes.
And they make really cute things.
Yes. Yeah, like 80% of my belongings are totally from Artist Alley cons. I'm just saying. The rest of it is basically furniture. So, and if people sold furniture in the Artist Alley, I would buy it. I wouldn't care how I got it home, but I would buy it. If I have to like strap it to a car and rent a car and drive it across states, fine. But we'll do it. Do it. Yes, I'm really excited to talk more about Artist Alleys next week. No, 2 weeks from now, because we do every other week. But I'm like, please.
Next topic.
Yes. Do we have anything we want to wrap up and tell everyone, Steph? What do you think?
Let's see. Stay hydrated.
Yes.
Water, not soda. You can have soda. You can be a soda hoe like me, but also balance it out with some water.
She's been watching me, you guys.
Some unsweetened, or some unsweetened herbal tea. That also counts as getting your water intake. And don't be afraid to say no and enforce your own boundaries for your own mental, physical health and well-being.
Yes. Don't forget your phone charger. And don't forget protein. Eat some protein. As much as
freaking protein.
We love sugar. Everybody loves sugar. If you don't, I don't believe you.
You're a liar.
You're gonna crash. You might feel like the buzz, but you're gonna crash. If you want to last that whole convention, eat some protein. These are your con mothers. This is what we have to tell you. So plug in your phone at night.
It's a whole new world. If you don't normally eat breakfast, get a protein shake. It's all of a sudden you have energy and you feel like you are more awake. It is magic.
Yeah. I mean, even like leading up to the convention, especially if it's your first convention, you could try out like easy to go breakfast. You'd be like, what is actually, like, you could test them out, especially if you're traveling out of state for a convention. You don't know what's around you. Like, you don't know if there's hotels. I mean, you can stalk, like, Google Maps. I do that. I plan out, like, my route and everything around. But, you could, like, test out breakfast ahead of time and be like, is this filling? How long does this make me feel filled for? Like, how long can I go realistically if I'm going before I crash? Like, because, especially if you're, like, younger and you're on a budget, because convention food is often very expensive, so
expensive.
Yes.
So bring snacks.
Yes.
Bring things that bring you joy. Bring specifically if you have a snack or a beverage that always just hits that spot. Bring it, because when you're really hungry, you need to find something. Like, if you're like me, I can't think when I'm hungry. I just need food. And
I get angry and mean.
I get so snippy.
Me too. I'm like, feed me.
So if you have something, a snack that like always just hits that spot and brings you joy that you don't have to think about, that's one thing that's like, it no matter what, that just you eat it and it's like, bring it, because you are not going to be able to think if you hungry.
Nope. Does that snack bring joy? See, guys, I need coffee. Does that snack spark joy? Yes.
Bring you joy.
Bring it. Bring your joy.
KonMari, test your snacks, everyone. KonMari, test your snacks.
That is your homework before the week of the convention. You test those snacks and be like, is this good? Yes.
Is this good?
Yes, we love you guys so much. Thank you, as always, for listening. We really appreciate you. Feel free to listen to us on YouTube or on ProjectNerd.com. We also have tons of great shows on there. Check them out. There's something for everyone. And we are going to have a documentary coming out about a film about D&D. So please check us out. We appreciate you guys.
I'm so
and
excited.
Find us. Me too. Find us on basically everything. YouTube, Twitter, Vero. We have Facebook, all the good stuff, and of course Instagram. But yeah, we love you guys. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you guys next time.